Oftentimes people ask me questions like, hey, what can I begin doing to get healthy? And a lot of these people have watched my channel, and it's like I'm constantly sharing information on how to get healthy. So my recommendation for you people who keep asking me these things, watch my channel and take heed to the messages that I've already given. It seems like a lot of people have already heard what I've already recommended in my videos, but they haven't taken heed to it and applied it to their life, but they still want to ask, how can I get healthy? And change your water supply. Change the water that you drink. Are you still drinking tap water filled with mind control agents, hydrofluorosilicic acid, uh, scaling lime, inorganic compounds, accumulative poisons, various residues and different chemical components, chloramines, etc.? That's the number one thing that you do to start getting healthy. You realize that your body is composed largely of water. Now you can either put dirty water in your fountain, or you can put clean water in your fountain. The choice is yours and yours alone. And I get asked, is bottled water good? No, it's not good. The best water that you can drink is water that you're going to generate, filter, or distill on your own. Stop buying water that's bottled. Bottles are not good for the planet. Get yourself a water filter or a water distiller, and get yourself a bottle, like a glass bottle, and just constantly refill your glass bottle instead of using all this plastic. You have to remember that these plastic bottles are made in factories. These factories create different pollutive problems on the planet. So if you drink tap water, or if you drink bottled water right currently, and if you just stopped drinking that bottled water, you would make such an impact on the planet. You alone, just by making that one decision to stop consuming tap water, or to stop drinking bottled water. And some of the smallest actions that you take can create such a big outcome here on the planet. One person who stops consuming bottled water can stop so much pollution. One person who stops consuming dead, murdered, tortured, abused, factory farmed animal flesh from animals who were fed genetically modified foods. One person who stops consuming that stuff and stops paying for it and supporting it makes such an impact on the planet. So a big part of my message, I'm constantly trying to influence people to make decisions that will help the planet evolve and help the planet regenerate and get cleaner. So many of us want to see the planet get to a state of enlightenment. Many of us want to see the planet get to a state of cleanliness with a lack of pollution, etc. But many of us are still either consciously or unconsciously supporting the devolution and the pollution of the planet by giving our money to various companies who do not harbor salubrious manufacturing processes. Many of the manufacturing processes leave behind so much pollution. So, again, I'm going to repeat myself because repetition of a message constitutes mental programming. I constantly am inspiring people to do everything in their personal power to make the planet and their health better. I'm constantly educating and telling people to do everything in their power to help make the planet a better place. Many people want to rely on like the government or some like Jesus Christ figure to come and save everybody and help the planet and all this, that, and the other. Collectively, we all have a responsibility to help this planet. Part of living here on the planet, part of your responsibility of living on this planet is to take care of it. So many of us as adults are like, toddlers in the bodies of adults who still wear diapers, who are constantly excuse me. What I'm trying to say is many of us are, as adults, we're incredibly immature. We don't even take responsibility for our actions. So, just a brief message, just another day here in the Matrix. And yeah, I do. Many of the adults that I encounter, to me, in my perceptions, and they seem like big babies. Many people still want to go through the motions in life, not thinking that they don't have to take responsibility for their bad actions. But every action has a reaction, and every time you make a decision out of ignorance, someone or something, whether that be the planet, an innocent animal, etc., takes a blow from it, gets harmed by it. So it is what it is. Drinking some cayenne pepper water. This is distilled water, lemon juice, and a little bit of cayenne pepper. And I like to let it sit in the sun until it's warm. You'll find with cayenne pepper, if you warm the water before you put the cayenne pepper into it, the cayenne leaches more of its elements, its oils into the water, and those are the elements that you want to leach out of the cayenne pepper. So I do recommend making cayenne pepper water, but I also recommend using warm water to make it, because you're going to get more nutritive elements out of the cayenne pepper. And, people have asked me, what's your diet like? Do you constantly drink the cayenne? Are you constantly consuming this particular juice, this herb, etc.? My whole life has been a research experiment. My whole journey with health has been a research experiment. So I'm constantly experimenting with different herbs, different fruits, different vegetables, etc. to formulate my own personal super diet. Remember, everyone has a different somatic constitution. Somatic means of or relating to the body. What works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. So when I recommend drinking cayenne pepper, and essentially what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get you to start experimenting with potions. And cayenne pepper was the initiator in my life that got me into herbalism and naturalism. And due to that, when I got into naturalism and herbalism, I was set down a road that eventually let me experience Kundalini awakenings, etc. This was the gateway for me into herbalism. And herbalism was responsible for me eventually manifesting a real 100% organic, 100% real Kundalini awakenings. So I'm just trying to get people to start experimenting. I'm not saying like, hey, bro, this is gonna work wonders on you. Everybody reacts to different. Everybody reacts to foods differently. So just start experimenting. And there's so many things to experiment with. One of the beauties in living in a somewhat technologically advanced society is that we have all these different superfoods and herbs and different health products at our fingertips. So, what I've realized through my own trial and error, my own experiments, my own experiences is that a lot of this natural living, it requires you to do a lot of experimentation. And experimentation is where all the fun is, because discoveries are made through experiments. And through discoveries, we can make discernments as to what works for us and what doesn't work for us. But I've been drinking cayenne pepper ever since I found it, on and off. And I don't drink it every day. I go through periods where I cleanse with it, and then I take breaks, and I experiment with different herbs, things like activated charcoal, Tribulus terrestris, Centella asiatica, Bacchopomanieri brahmi, Aphanisomenum flos aqua blue-green algae. I like to experiment with spirulina, chlorella, Cucumber juice. I love cucumber juice. I love to drink the juice of melons, cantaloupes, Tuscan melons, watermelons, honeydew melons, musk melons, etc. I love to experiment with all sorts of stuff. I like to experiment with distilled water, reverse osmosis water, alkalized ionized water, silver impregnated water, etc. So I've dedicated my life to experimenting. And, you know, it is what it is. Peace.